Welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public service program for the Special District's May 16th election that is being produced by Capital Community Media via remote technology and the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties. All candidates for the Salem-Keizer School Board election were invited to participate, and we will be hearing from 5 of the 6 in our interviews. Candidates were asked to prepare a 2-minute opening statement telling about themselves, their qualifications, and why they chose to run for the office. I'm Tomika Dew, your moderator from the League of Women Voters, and I'd like to introduce candidate Satya Chandragiri to share his opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dew, and thank you, Capital Media, and thank you, listeners. My name is Dr. Satya Chandragiri. I'm an immigrant parent, originally from India, and a psychiatrist. I've served in 3 countries, diverse populations for the last 35 years, in our state for 25 years. And I'm a current school board director. And I was the chair of the Salem-Keizer School District during the height of the perfect storm, when we had pandemic, the school closure, wildfire, social unrest, and you name the challenges. It was an important and challenging moment for all of us. We all went through that. I bore witness to that. So when people ask me, moving forward, why are you trying to run again? As a parent and a physician, as a psychiatrist, we don't abandon our children. We don't abandon those who are hurting. So my answer is very simple. Today, everybody is suffering, some more than others. There's unprecedented mental health and safety challenges. All this has affected so many different variables, including significant learning loss. Our community is hurting. I was there for you then. I will be there for you now, moving forward. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We need to pick up the pieces. I'm the only incumbent running, so I will offer some level of continuity, stability, and experience so that we can pick up the pieces, focus on safety, learning, and bring everybody together and move forward as we have a new superintendent coming. Thank you very much for asking this question.
And thank you for sharing that information with us. The questions for the candidates were developed in collaboration with the NAACP, AAUW, and League of Women Voters members. Candidates did not receive the questions ahead of this interview. There are 9 prepared questions, and the candidate may answer as many of those as possible in the time we have available today. The candidates' responses to the individual questions will not be timed. Now, let's give you an opportunity to address the questions of concern to our community. Let's begin with your describing the role of a school board member and how it is different than the superintendent and staff.
School board directors, we report to the community. You are my supervisors. And what do I do as a school board director? School board directors are like the union leaders for the children. Teachers have union, superintendent has union, and we have a fiduciary duty towards all our children. That is the primary role. So once we have to think of our children and what 7 of us do, we hire a superintendent and translate the hopes, dreams, aspirations of all of you and make sure that the superintendent is able to enact it through what is called an executive limitation. It's almost like you hire a contractor to build your home. And there are some requirements. The school board has to focus on the safety, learning, and make sure that we pass the budget and the superintendent is able to implement them within the budget, ensuring that we are following the laws upholding the civil rights of our children. So we have an oversight function. It is a very important fiduciary responsibility, and we have to take it seriously. So thank you for asking this question.
Thank you. In several places in the district policy for the school board, it states that there is to be regular opportunities for public comment and feedback. What has the current school board done well in hearing from the public, and what can be improved?
Thank you for asking. We are going through one of the most unprecedented times in recent history. Not just that we had 5 back-to-back disasters similar to 9/11, but we are still struggling with the aftermath of it. It has led to a lot of fear, anxiety, and a lot of parents are worried about their children's safety. What's going to happen to their learning? Are they going to be doing better than what they are? This is basic maternal and parental instinct has been activated. This is the time where we need to be open, listening, however hard it is. We need to listen authentically and engage and involve all communities. People are scared. People are suffering. People are worried. They are holding on to their children, not even sending them to school. I'm not completely satisfied that we are doing what we could do. We are basically following just the bare minimum of what is required of a public meeting by having a live telecast. That is not authentic listening. Some of the communities have told me we like to sit and listen or share face to face, heart to heart. The Chukis family shared that with me. We are not providing such an opportunity. People are afraid to come and share what is there in their mind. What are their core fears and hopes and dreams and aspirations? We are not providing opportunity for that. So these are the areas that we would like to improve by completely opening up school board meetings and all committees and different levels where every parent, every child, every teacher, every day can have authentic two-way connection. I have seen that with the Black community. I worked with them. We had to overcome our fears. And finally, we developed a STEM mentoring program called Zenzali, and this won an award for that. Now they have asked me to be in the board of Equity Splash, which is a Black run nonprofit, and I'm the chair of that. That was not the story 2 years ago. So I truly believe that we can work with communities if we can authentically listen and engage, and we can heal our community. We have ways to go. I want to be honest with you. We can overcome any division, and we will. It is very important for our children, and we have some ways to go, and that's what I will keep advocating. Thank you for asking that question.
Let's turn to some budgetary concerns. What will be done to the budget, if anything, to address the concerns of student mental health needs and the needs of our unsheltered youth?
This is a very important question, near and dear to me. I am the Chief Medical Officer of a CCO, Coordinated Care Organization for Eastern Oregon, where I have 70,000 lives to take care, 12 counties. I've been really worried about this. Historically, school has tried to do everything on their own. The scale of the problem is so enormous that we cannot. We not only have to use the school's budget, but we also have to start thinking of way in which we can use the Medicaid funds, because the state no longer has a waiver called EPSDT, which requires that care has to be provided at the right time, at the right place, for right reasons and right level of care. We can no longer deny care. So we need to start thinking in terms of working with the Medicaid, coordinated care organizations. All of us sit down with state, county, state, and federal level, sit down and work together. And that's the way we're going to have a braided funding and start thinking in terms of pushing the car in the same direction. So thank you for asking. This is a complicated question. I wish I had a simple answer, but I do have an answer, which I'm working in Eastern Oregon. Similar model we can use anywhere in our state. Thank you.
how would you direct the superintendent to help our diverse student population that is underachieving in literacy and language acquisition?
Equity is the fundamental purpose of public education. So I will direct the superintendent to do a thorough audit to see what are the gaps at different levels for different communities and make sure that the resources are allocated accordingly. I will ask the superintendent to do an audit to see what is not helping, what kind of structural and systemic barriers are preventing that, so that our children have an opportunity, equal opportunity, so that they can have the brightest, best trajectory. I worry that we are losing future potential cardiac surgeons, neurosurgeons, or engineers from the Black or Latino community. Why? Because our models have not sustained. I did sponsor a policy along with two other directors, and we got it passed on two-way dual language immersion model. It was a tough fight for 7 months. We faced a lot of pushback, but I was not satisfied until there was a budgetary allocation attached to it, and they named the schools and a plan for expanding by 2027 to include all the elementary schools. Until then, I kept the fight going, and that's what you'll see from me. And that is the way you dismantle and make changes. And I will ask the superintendent to do it. I wish our board leadership does an exit interview, because they're not doing a superintendent evaluation this year. At least an exit interview so that we can understand what the equity gaps are for different communities. Because the pandemic has pushed back some of the vulnerable communities even further. Third grade reading is like single digit for Pacific Islanders, 7.1. So these are for English language learners, it is 2.5% of them are doing in proficiency level. So I need to know the basic measure of who is standing where, so that I can start asking, is there a high level tutoring program, mentoring program? It's almost like an individualized treatment plan, individualized education plan at scale. And that's going to be my first priority, asking the new superintendent to do that. Thank you.
Thank you for that. What did you look at in hiring of the new superintendent? And what will you recommend to create a safe environment for students and staff?
There are three things I looked for. I started with asking, what does my community need today? I felt the greatest need is for all of us to heal and bring different sections of our community. And that is number one. And the best answer I got from the new superintendent, which I had not heard in 23 years. She comes from a biracial background. She values her white heritage as much as her Hispanic heritage. And the way she articulated really impressed me, gave me hope that we can bring our communities together. We can't grow good seeds unless we prepare the soil. The second thing is she has worked in large systems in Rhode Island and also in large systems in Tulsa, Oklahoma. When that school district went through a challenge because of her predecessor's mismanagement of some funds, and went through intrusive audit, she was asked to step up and fix that. She did not abandon them. She did what was right. She was an ethical woman. She stayed there, cleaned up, hired the program, and brought down the recruitment time to few days or few weeks. Only then she decided to move. And she is very transparent, front. And she sent us the audit, which gave her a clean clearance. And that is what I found very impressive in this new superintendent. And that's why I'm very hopeful. She works with data. She is already wanting to reach out to communities that have not been included. And we are making those connections. So I am very hopeful for our district. I will continue to work with her on that direction.
Are you going to make any recommendations or ask her any questions about creating that safe environment for students?
Absolutely. Safety is my top priority. I want our community to hear we have failed in some of the policies which we pursued. Perhaps during that time that made sense to us. And today we are seeing the most unsafe situation. We need to have a complete evaluation and reset that. And so that's going to be a priority. I'm already working in a committee with the district on safe and welcoming, and that I will continue to advocate. I continued to advocate on safety even before I became a school board director, and that's going to be my focus.
Well, we only have time, I think, for a brief answer to our last question. What are some of the barriers, either actual or perceived, to parent involvement and understanding of curricula? And what changes would you make?
I think the greatest barrier has nothing to do with curriculum. The greatest barrier has been there is significant polarization and distrust in our community. That's why I like to sit and listen, irrespective of any ideology you have, so that we need to include parents from the beginning.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry we don't have time for more explicit answer. I'd now like to invite you to share your closing remarks and any public contact information.
Thank you, Ms. Dew, and thank you, community. First of all, I want to say this has been the greatest blessing that my community offered me to serve the community during this most important time. People say I'm the first person who became a chair, a first person of color to become chair. None of them are as important as my opportunity to bear witness, stay with you. I've looked in the eyes of the mother who lost her child to suicide when she came and spoke in my launch. And I said, I will speak for you, ma'am. And today I have to speak with her, for her as well, because she also died by suicide. I take this your children's safety. I've seen the eyes of the mother whose child was sexually trafficked, bullied, beaten, dropped out of school, ended up in criminal justice system. I hear you. I see your pain. I'm an immigrant parent, and I will do everything because I see, when I see your child, I see my child. And that's the reason I'm sticking around and will continue to advocate for you fearlessly, yet with humility and compassion for all groups. And that's what I promise. And that's why I seek your support. Please vote for me. Visit my website, www.satyaforschools.com, and I will give you my best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Satya Chandragiri, for our interview today and for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to Capital Community Media for their production and technology skills, and to our community groups that provided questions and topics. And thanks to you, the public, for watching this program to become an informed voter.
Thank you.
You have until April 25th to register to vote or to make any changes in your registration. Ballots will be mailed out April 26th and will be accepted if postmarked before or on Election Day, May 16th. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts.